experiences that I had in court that influenced my teaching. I've had many very positive examples from judges that I've long admired in terms of the way they treat the attorneys. And then I had one negative example that really taught me what not to do. Not that I don't think that that would necessarily be in my nature, but I always find it very enlightening to see the effect that treating somebody harshly, whether or not they deserved it, would have on the victim of that type of treatment. And what I noticed one day in court, I was waiting for my case to come up. The room was full of lawyers, and they had other cases ahead of me. And this particular judge had a young associate and maybe another opposing counsel in front of him there on the bench. And I think just probably out of nervousness, I could tell from just the tone of voice of the associate that he didn't wait for the judge to finish. He would just sort of start chiming in right away. And for some reason, that really annoyed the judge to the point where it angered the judge. And the judge just very sternly told the young associate, you know, I'm talking, so you don't interrupt me. And the young associate said, Your Honor, I'm very sorry. Well, you're interrupting me. I'm sorry. And I mean, this poor guy got so flustered because he was trying to apologize. The judge wasn't even letting him do that. And the judge was just, I don't know. I don't know if the judge was enjoying the power trip or what, but I thought you would never treat somebody like that. That's not, you know, nobody deserves to have, to be treated in that fashion. And so I've always tried to temper or think twice before saying something to a student and thinking of, well, what may have motivated the student to behave in a certain way. Or is there a way, there was one time where a student was in one of my legal writing classes, or very early in the school year, was challenging the score that she got on one of the weekly legal citation assignments, which are only worth, and I'm not kidding, they were only worth 1 point. And that point could be divided into halves, or yeah, I think that you could get a half a point, 0, or 1 point. Depending on how many you got right. But these were not meant to be game changers. They were just meant to acquaint the student with certain types of rules in a rather non-threatening kind of way, because they weren't like 50-point memos that you could score high, and these would just be worth 1 point. And she was fighting for this 1 point. And and even the tone of her email, I was thinking, well, you know, this student might need a lecture on how to treat legal supervisors, because I was thinking you don't want to treat the partner at the firm in that fashion if they call a mistake to your attention. And so I bounced it off of my teaching assistant. And I said, well, what do you think? What do you think about this? It looks like she needs a talking to. And the TA said, you know, why don't we, if you don't mind, he asked me, why don't I talk to her and just try to find out what was going on? And it turned out that she had been given some bad advice from some 2L student that you had to fight for every point that you wanted to get. And the TA explained why that wasn't the correct approach and why that was just going to waste not only her time but everybody else's time. And that we're really trying to help her out in this situation. And without my having to be excessively confrontational, it turned out that the TA was able to resolve the problem. And I ended up having a very good relationship with the student once she was able to kind of relax, because she got so wound up in this. And the TA was trying to say, I think you're hearing the wrong advice. And coming from the TA, it was much easier for her to accept than for me to give her a lecture. At which point I probably would have said, you know, this is really inappropriate. And I don't know if that would have gotten through to her the way that my teaching assistant did. So again, just kind of doubling back to the value of being able to use a peer to the students effectively, that kind of underscores the success that I've had with that.